All right. Hey, I'm Lucky, and in today's video, we're going to be looking over some insane Trials of Osiris statistics brought to us by Destiny Trials Report. Have you ever wondered what is the most used subclass inside PvP? We all know that hunters dominate the population charts. We know that from Guardian games that there are more hunters playing than any other class, but what subclass of hunter is the most popular? And on the other end, what is the least popular subclass choice in PvP? And with the recent stat charts we've been given, we can now finally answer those burning questions. But before we go over those stats, and before I reveal the graphic in the top left corner right here, I want you to comment down below giving me your prediction. What do you think is the #1 most used subclass by high skill players in PvP? And what subclass do you think is the least used subclass in PvP? Comment that down below before I show you that chart. The answers may surprise you because they certainly surprised me. I was not expecting these results. This is the chart right here in the top left corner, and it's broken down into two different categories. The first category, the pink one, is 2.0 KD or higher players, and the second category is 0.8 KD or less in the purple category. And the reason why they wanted to do that is to compare the difference between what is perceived as high skill players, people who have 2.0 KD or higher, and then people who are either new to the game or not as good at the game with 0.8 KD, to compare the difference both in their subclass selection, and later on we will go over their exotic armor choices for PvP. So let's go ahead and break this down. At the very top, for 2.0 KD or higher players in Trials of Osiris last week, we had Void Hunters bringing in 34% of the player base, and 0.8 KD players played Void Hunter 22% of the entire 0.8 or less player base. Okay, so Void Hunter, the most used subclass. If you commented that down below, you get a cookie. The second most used subclass for 2.0 players was 20% of the player base. Of that player base is using Arc Titan, and 21% of 0.8 KD players are using Arc Titan. Going on down, we have Solar Hunter, 14% for 2.0 players, and 9.7% for 0.8 or less players for Solar Hunter. And you can see we go on and on down the charts. There's some pretty fair contrast between the two until we get to Arc Hunter. You can see that there's a lot more 0.8 or less KD players using Arc Hunter in PvP, so that's a bit of a staggering difference. Same thing happens to Void Warlock. A lot less 2.0 KD players are using Void Warlock. And really the most contrasting one here is that Arc Warlock, 2% of 2.0 players are using Arc Warlock, but a staggering 9.27, almost 10% of 0.8 KD or less players are using that Arc Warlock. That is funny to see the drastic difference in that player base. Let me know your thoughts about that. Do you think that Arc Warlock is a bad subclass? And even if you do think that it's a bad subclass because 0.8 KD players or less are using it significantly more than 2.0 KD players, one thing that is really staggering here is that the worst subclass is Solar Titan, has the least usage rates. 2.0 KD players are using this 0.3% of the time. 0.3% of the player base are using this subclass. Almost no players are using Solar Titan in PvP, but 3% of the 0.8 KD players are actually using the subclass. Not very much in comparison to, Void Hunter and Arc Titan per se, but still a noticeable difference nonetheless. Now let's go ahead and look at the exotic armor usage rates per subclass. Okay, so at the very top of the chart here, you can see this is the most popular exotic armor pieces used by 2.0 KD players or higher, and then you have at the bottom 0.8 KD players and the exotic armor pieces that they use. So at the very top, 21% of the 2.0 or higher players are still rocking Stompies. 21% are still using that. That is still the most popular exotic for perceived as high skill players, players with 2.0 KD or higher. And the number 2 is Dune Marchers at 12%. Number 3 is Khepris. And then it just goes on down and down and down the charts. For the 0.8 players, we have Ophidian Aspects. So a lot of Warlocks out there for the 0.8 or less. And then we have followed up by Stompies, Dune Marchers, Wormhusk Crown, Gerfalcon's Hauberk, and so on and so forth. It goes on and on down. So definitely a substantial difference. It seems like a lot of players that have lower KDs are Warlocks. Apparently, Warlocks are not getting enough love in their overall subclass appeal. We know that in the usage rates. Let me know your thoughts about this. Do you think the Bungie should buff Warlocks specifically for PvP? Because clearly they are doing bad in the overall charts and statistics across the board. Warlocks seem to be the least loved class in PvP. So do you think that warrants a buff for Warlocks? We shall see. Only time will tell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, what you think about all of these statistics, and make sure to subscribe here with notifications on. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.